Welcome to J.K. Michael's Knowledge Series. This is the Career Improvement Series, and our focus for this section will be effective communication skills. This will take 5 subsectional topics, of which we will be focusing on the concept of communicating in interviews, and we will show you how to go about it. So let's jump right into it. As we'll say in colloquial communication, breakfast is served. What is a job interview? A job interview is a selection process used by organizations to help determine whether a job candidate has the necessary knowledge, skills, and ability to do the job. It may also be used to see if there is a good fit between the applicant and the organization from the standpoint of culture and values. Job interviews are the quintessential laboratory to explore communications, believe me. Have you noticed? The interviews are structured to evaluate you on all types of communication we earlier mentioned. The resume and the cover letter writing test your writing skills. The physical meetings test both your verbal and non-verbal communication, while your responses will provide evidence as to whether you are a good listener or not. Of course, your employer needs to know how well you can communicate your expertise, competence, skills, abilities, and objectives. And while certain jobs would require more sophisticated communication skills to handle, for example, the job of a sales manager and a negotiator, everyone should at least be able to communicate right in an interview. That is, if you intend to get the job. In interview situations, you should communicate your expertise, competence, skills, abilities, personalities, and objectives. But how do you communicate all these in ways that makes the employer see you as the candidate they must hire? Every job has essential requirements for success. These essential requirements are so glaring that they are seldom missed. For example, accountants need to be good with numbers and analytic thinking, but they may not be required to be extroverted or social butterflies. One may be a loner and make a great accountant, but that rarely will be the case for a sales manager. There are also statements that tell you what the employer is looking for in the candidate. Statements like, we require a candidate who will be pragmatic, dynamic, able to initiate change, and be a natural leader. Now, these are wonderful qualities, but they are also abstract. How do you communicate to the prospective employer that you exemplify all of these qualities and attributes? The first and perhaps the most important work starts with the writing of the CV. Why would most recruiters consider this to be the most important part of the job search? It is because it is the fundamental part of the process. If you do not have a great CV, you simply will not be invited for the interview. Attention must be paid to this part of the process, and it must be executed with utmost care and attention to detail. Begin by updating and customizing your CV so that it fits the job role excellently. Prioritize what you will include and exclude whatever may not be relevant to the job you intend to land. While a little embellishment might do some good, be careful not to tell lies in your CV, like listing a school that you did not attend or including a certification that you do not have. You will be found out. Trust me. Your next most important sales document is your cover letter. It should be brief and not over a page. It can emphasize a key point about you and should show that you are enthusiastic about the opportunity. It may also provide an opportunity to justify an underqualified application. For instance, if you want to land a role as a caterer but have never worked in the industry before, you may say something like, I may not have worked in the catering industry before. However, cooking and entertainment have always been great interests of mine, and for some time I've been looking for the right job to bring my marketing skills to an industry that I really want to be a part of. Did that sound great? For the interview, chances are high that they will ask you precisely about the requirements that were stated in the job ad. Always be prepared on this front. Everyone loves a good story, so go to the interview armed with anecdotes that show how well you match those critical requirements. For example, if a critical requirement listed included the ability to negotiate, tell them about the time you negotiated past the stalemate by proposing an option that no one had considered. Demonstrate to them how it helped the team to negotiate a win-win that satisfied all parties by bringing significant value to the discussion. Generally, interviews will attempt to evaluate you on some or all of these 7 listed areas. Number 1, personal qualities, e.g. innovativeness, ambition, and energy. Number 2, communication skills, e.g. articulation, good interpersonal skills, good presentation skills, and good negotiation skills. Personal image, e.g. friendliness, confidence, sense of humor, and enthusiasm. Work style, e.g. flexibility, self-motivation, whether a person is a team player or not, whether he enjoys working with a target, and his level of discipline. Customer relationship, e.g. positive attitude to customer service. Does he enjoy dealing with people? Does he possess excellent influencing skills? Management skills, skills, e.g. leadership skill, ability to motivate, ability to evaluate, and the ability to manage change. And number 7, general skills such as good analytic skills, good organizational skills, the ability to prioritize workload, and the ability to manage time effectively. While we may not be able to discuss all of these 7 points, because believe me, they have many related topics that can keep us talking all day, our focus will be to identify the most salient points that establish a connection with most, if not all, of these points. The first thing to keep in mind is that each of these points and the attendant qualities listed therein are abstract qualifications. It is up to the person who would be interviewed to make these qualities become concrete and personified in oneself when they face the interviewer. The interviewer doesn't want to hear you tell him that you have great leadership skills or are a natural leader. Show him your leadership skills in how well you present your CV. Highlight the projects you have led and successfully completed in a prominent part of your CV. Walk in and communicate like a leader. That means you don't lower your head, you don't shuffle, you don't mumble, and you don't give wet fish handshake. You want to walk in with confidence, head held up high, shoulders back, chest out, and give a firm handshake. You also want to speak audibly and own the space in which you sit. However you present yourself, ensure you continue to be respectful and never allow your career to cross that fine line between confidence and arrogance. Like we earlier stated, begin by preparing based on the qualities highlighted in the job advert. So let us assume that under number 2, communication skills, was listed the attribute must be able to liaise at all levels. The first thing you need to do is this: break it down. What do the interviewers really mean by this requirement? Most times, when requirements are presented like this, it means that you should be able to work with top managers and contribute at the board level. It is easier to manage downwards than it is to manage or interact with senior level managers. The interviewer is simply wanting to know if you can deal confidently and effectively with all levels of management. This points to 3 key attributes that you should have. Number 1, you should be confident and not act nervously when communicating with the top directors. Number 2, you should understand their perspective. Senior managers tend to take a broad and long-term view of the organization that might not be subordinated to individual interests or requirements in specific departments or units. How can you deal with that? Or more importantly, how can you understand how they think and work with it? Number 3, board members tend to deal with strategy and policy and not detail. They want to decide what should be done and not how it should be done. That should be a manager's responsibility. Can you provide them with the right information at the right level of detail? If you can handle these, then how do you demonstrate it on paper? You may write that you have handled presentations to the board or contributed to directors' meetings or anything that demonstrates that you have provided relevant input into the work of senior managers and directors. How do you demonstrate this when you meet them in a face-to-face interview? Here, confidence is the key, and the right body language should provide a strong advantage to the person being interviewed. Show them that you are used to communicating with senior managers and leaders. To summarize, a job interview is a selection process used by organizations to help determine whether a job candidate has the necessary knowledge, skills, and ability to do the job. It may also be used to see if there is a good fit between the applicant and the organization from the standpoint of culture and values. Interviewers attempt to evaluate one's fitness for a job role based on all the essential communication skills, from listening to writing to the verbal and non-verbal modes of communication. Attention, therefore, should be paid to how your CV and cover letters are constructed, as well as how you present yourself in a face-to-face interview. Generally, interviews will attempt to evaluate you on some or all of these 7 listed areas. Number 1, personal skills. Number 2, communication skills. Number 3, personal image. Number 4, work style. Number 5, customer relationship. Number 6, management skills. And number 7, general skills. It is important to begin preparation by understanding what the listed essential requirements are and what they mean to the interviewer. A robust preparation can be made on that basis. I hope you enjoy watching this video. Please like and subscribe by clicking on the red subscribe button right at the bottom of the video for helpful tips on personal and career improvement, business growth, training, and certification. Now for my question. Still under the communication skill and specifically under the attribute must be able to liaise at all levels. How would you respond if you were asked these questions in an interview? Number 1, how does contributing in a meeting of directors differ from contributing in a meeting lower down the organization? Number 2, if you were in a meeting with senior managers and one of them argued strongly against your point of view, what would you do? Tricky, right? That's how we wanted them. Let us hear what you think. Indicate your responses in the comment section of this video. I will look through through it and I'll offer feedback as required. For more details on career improvement, training and mentorship, please visit our website www.jkmichaelspm.com. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video.